Welcome to Haukke Manor Hard in Final Fantasy XIV. If you've done the normal version, do not trust your memory. This dungeon reuses the same haunted house layout, but completely changes the flow, pacing, and danger level, like the manor decided it was tired of being predictable. Enemies hit harder, progression is more structured, so stay alert, stay together, and try not to emotionally bond with any hallway lighting. As soon as you enter, go upstairs immediately. Don't go left like normal mode. That path is irrelevant in this version and will only waste time. Upstairs is where the dungeon properly begins. From this point forward, progression is structured around keys, doors, and controlled movement rather than free exploration. Defeat enemies to obtain keys, and those keys are used to unlock nearby doors that continue the path forward. Before the first boss, don't worry too much about the trash mobs. These early packs are small groups and fairly simple. They don't hit hard, and they don't have any dangerous mechanics you need to react to. So this part is basically just you moving through the mansion, clearing small enemy groups one by one. Eventually, the key path leads you to the first boss, the Manor Jester. This fight introduces the dungeon's core lesson. Standing still in the wrong place is a choice you will regret. The Jester drops icy AoE attacks on the ground that must be avoided. Standing in them applies a frostbite debuff that deals damage over time, which can quickly add up if ignored. It also applies a slow debuff that should be removed by your healer whenever possible. During the fight, adds will spawn and must be prioritized quickly. If ignored, they will quietly escalate the fight into chaos. After defeating the boss, the door opens automatically. Then interact with the crystal ball in the room before moving forward. This is where the dungeon pace changes. You enter a long corridor where you should not stop moving for extended periods. Along both sides of the hallway, purple lamps begin casting environmental attacks. These are not direct enemy mechanics, but environmental hazards that punish standing still or lingering too long in one place. The correct approach is to move forward continuously while pulling mobs along the way. At the end of the corridor, make a right, and continue forward until you reach a locked door on your left. This is a large trash section, so your group has options here. You can either stop at the end of the corridor before turning right for more controlled pulls, or continue forward for larger, more efficient multi-pack pulls, if your party is confident. This is also where key progression continues. You will kill enemies to obtain a key, which is then used to open the nearby locked door. If the door is locked, it means you missed enemies somewhere along the route and should backtrack slightly. After opening the door, you will handle a small group of enemies. At this point, the Manor Sentry will run ahead toward the second boss arena, signaling that you are approaching the next encounter. The second boss, Ash, is a positioning-heavy fight where awareness is more important than raw damage. Ash uses strong frontal cleave attacks that must only hit the tank. Anyone standing in front of the boss will quickly understand why positioning matters in this dungeon. Throughout the fight, AoE attacks will appear in various patterns, including line-based and rotating danger zones that must be avoided through movement. Adds will also spawn during the encounter. While they do increase pressure on the party if left alone, they are not the main focus of the fight, as steady damage on the boss will often resolve the encounter before they become overwhelming. After defeating Ash, the door opens automatically. You must interact with the second crystal ball in the room and unlocks the final section of the dungeon path. After interacting with the second crystal ball, you unlock the final section of the dungeon path and move deeper into the manor area. This leads into a long hallway filled with a large train of enemies heading toward the final boss area. This is a flexible pull section, and your approach should depend entirely on your party's confidence. If your party is experienced and comfortable with large pulls, you can choose to go for a full wall-to-wall style run. In this case, you pull everything and continue moving forward while fighting, carrying the entire hallway straight toward the final arena entrance. This keeps momentum high and minimizes downtime between packs. However, if your party is not fully confident with handling sustained large pulls, then you should stop midway through the hallway instead. Clear a manageable portion of enemies, stabilize, and then continue forward in controlled segments. Now, final boss, Halicarnassus. This is where most runs start to fall apart. Halicarnassus is not difficult because of damage checks or complex mechanics individually. She is difficult because everything depends on timing and how you handle ads before they disappear into her like snacks at a haunted banquet. She will summon ads and then absorb them. When she absorbs an ad, the damage your party takes depends on how much HP that ad still had at the moment of absorption. When higher HP ads are absorbed, higher raid-wide damage. When lower HP ads are absorbed, safer outcome. This means your job is not just to kill ads, but to make sure they are nearly or fully dead before absorption happens. If your party ignores this timing, damage spikes become lethal very quickly. Early in the fight, the Manor Sentry will appear and begin casting Dread Gaze. When you see this, you must turn your character away from the enemy before the cast finishes. Looking at it will apply a heavy negative effect that can quickly disrupt the fight. When two ads appear, the correct approach is focus one down first, then immediately switch to the second. Do not split damage evenly unless your party is extremely coordinated, because timing matters more than fairness here. The goal is to minimize the HP of both ads before absorption triggers. When Lady Amandine spawns at roughly 35% HP, if your party continues to attack the boss and pushes her below 25% HP, she will instantly skip her normal routine and trigger Fatal Allure to eat the ad. Because Lady Amandine is absorbed at full health, the subsequent Blood Rain deals massive, party-wiping damage. To avoid this, you must stop all DPS on the boss around 35% health and focus entirely on killing Lady Amandine before finishing the fight. Halicarnassus will also use a charm mechanic that forces movement, followed by AoE attacks that punish disorganization. If the fight drags on too long, this pattern repeats more frequently and starts overwhelming the party's ability to recover. So while this isn't a pure DPS race, the fight will quickly turn into one if mechanics aren't handled cleanly. And that's Haukke Manor Hard cleared. Once you understand how the dungeon flows, especially the key progression and the ad mechanics at the end, it becomes much easier to handle. It's one of those dungeons where everything feels confusing at first, but very predictable once you've seen it a few times. So now you won't get lost in the manor, and hopefully won't have to question why the party keeps wiping halfway through. If you enjoyed this guide, make sure to like and subscribe for more simple, cozy dungeon guides. It really supports the channel and helps more adventurers find their way through ENIX. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next dungeon. Hopefully one that's a little less haunted. Bye for now.